Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to go all over the 5 main takeaways that I think you really need to get to grips with when looking at starting a rent-to-rent business. So you know the drill, hit that like, hit the subscribe if you find this useful, and leave us a comment if you found this valuable. Number 1 is all about adapting the right mindset. You're going from possibly a worker who has done nothing but just trade time for money. You might have had your own business, but if your business stopped working, does your business still make money? So essentially, you might have always been a worker. So it's stepping into the mindset of putting time and effort into something and not seeing a paycheck at the end, hoping it will work. That's really hard. Like throughout your whole life, you've probably been told no is you're doing something wrong. In this game, in rent to rent, it's a numbers game. You're going to be making a lot of phone calls to agents and landlords, and they're going to shut you down, and you're going to start questioning, like, am I doing something wrong? Is my tone of voice wrong? You're going to have a lot of doubts, and you're going to start questioning yourself. Is it for you? Is it something you can do? Luckily, being part of a mentorship, you're part of a boat full of exactly the same people who are doing exactly the same training, taking the same efforts, and they're facing all of these rejections as well, which is quite reassuring, knowing you're doing the right thing and they're doing the same thing and still getting the same rejection. So all about adapting that mindset of you're putting massive effort into something and not really seeing anything immediately materialize or being paid for. So that's actually quite hard. It's actually quite hard unless you've done training before. If you've gone to the gym and you've worked for months and months and months and not seen any results, it's slow. This is similar. You're trying to build something quite significant. Your whole plan of doing rent to rent is to become financially free or inject more cash flow into your life. So it's going to be hard. It needs to be hard. If it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be a route to financial freedom. So I'm actually really glad it's hard. So it's all about facing those challenges, persisting with the phone calls and the messages, even though you're getting told no after no after no. It depends how bad you want it, how bad you want the lifestyle change in your life. How many things have you tried? How many times did you quit? Is this going to be the same? You're going to quit after 2 months of being told no for 2 months? Even if it takes you 6 months, right, to get your first deal. Fast forward 2 years, your future self will thank you so much for staying disciplined and following the process, because now your life is so different. I couldn't imagine quitting on anything I do. I always think, if I'm going to try something, am I going to be consistent with it? Do I 100% want to do it? Because I never want to start something and then give up or quit, because it will affect my mindset. I've worked a lot on my mindset over the years of being in business. You hear people say your character is truly built when being in business, faced with all of these ups and downs and high and low moments and challenges. And I can really see that now. So with the mindset, it's going to change over time, because you're going to be putting in massive effort to really build your business, get faced with rejection, and it's all about dealing with that and staying with the process and just keep going. Another attribute you need to really understand and get to grips with is discipline. That is where the winners separate themselves from the quitters, is when you're on your own and it's just you and the laptop and the networking groups have closed and the Zooms have finished and it's just you. You've got your laptop, you know exactly what you need to be doing, and it's all about finding those deals instead of putting on a film and chilling out for the evening and saying to yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Those start tomorrows do turn into weeks and weeks into months, and then you quit. You've kind of just injected little bits into your mind where you're like, I'll put it off, I'll put it off, I'll put it off, and then you get comfortable. And then you get really uncomfortable when you actually step outside of your comfort zone. So it's all about just being extremely disciplined. Do the work that you know you need to do. That is where the winners separate themselves from the quitters. So trust me, motivation goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, but discipline should always stay true. It's like, focus on your goals. What is the bigger picture? What's at the end? Your future, imagine your future self 3 years from now is looking at you. You can't see this person, you can't hear them, but they're looking at you thinking, come on, like, so much potential. If only you could see how much work you're going to put in is going to reward you, So that's how I stayed disciplined, is my future self will severely thank me, and I do. I look back and I'm like, I'm so happy that I stuck with it, and I just was relentless, absolutely relentless. I beat myself up every time I was like, why am I not making these phone calls? And I just reminded myself of my reason why. You need a strong reason why. Rent to rent is hard. Like, Do not let anybody tell you this is easy. It's hard because the financial freedom is there. Injected cash flow into your life. It's not going to be easy. Otherwise, everybody would be making a lot of money through rent to rent. It's hard because it is hard. That's it. You're trying to find a certain landlord that will accept your offer based on XYZ. I deem there's 3 types of landlords. One is an entrepreneur themselves, and they're looking at you as an aspiring entrepreneur, and they might just want to give you the opportunity. Another type of landlord is if they've had bad experience with tenants and they don't want to go down that route again. Another one is they want a more hands-off approach, and what you're offering is very appealing. They're the 3 types of landlords. So to close that one up, discipline, listen to music, do what you need to do, remind yourself of the reason why you've started rent to rent, or the reason why you're thinking of starting rent to rent. Is this sustainable across 6 months of the effort you're going to do? Am I going to quit? No. Okay, start, but be extremely disciplined. Next is self-belief. You're doing something that you've never done before. You might not have ever started a business. You might not have ever stepped outside of your comfort zone. I always look at myself and who I used to be. I used to kind of step out of my comfort zone, but applying for jobs further up the ladder and interviews, I deem them as stepping outside of your comfort zone, stepping into something you're not used to, changing it up. You're going to be undergoing training. It's completely different now, though, to when I was a worker. And when I started rent to rent, it was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I've somehow got to inject self-belief into me that I know I can do this. And self-belief is good when you're part of a network of people on exactly the same boat, doing the same training, and you're bouncing off of each other with accountability, the highs and lows. You see them get a deal and you're like, oh my God, they're exactly the same as me. It motivates you and keeps you going. And then that's where the self-belief comes in. If you're doing this on your own, you're not bouncing off at anyone. You haven't got accountability buddies. You don't know if you can do it. That's just it. You need to somehow instill self-belief, because motivation, like I said a minute ago, goes up and down like crazy. You can be the most disciplined person on the planet, but if you're completely on your own, how do you know you can do it? So networking is good. Being part of a mentorship is better. Doing both, brilliant. You're meeting a lot of people on the same boat. You're going to have self-belief without a shadow of a doubt. If you're looking at training, obviously by now you should have looked at the other mentees, looked at what's included, watch some of the people that have joined and then they're successful, look back on their stories, watch the interviews, etc., etc. So you already trust the process works. So if and when you do join a mentorship, just trust the process. Don't question it. Don't question the training. Don't question. You're going to, trust me, you're going to. When you're getting like all these rejections coming through and you're just like, I don't think rent to rent works anymore. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Many people get many deals all the time. Not just from my training, from lots of different training platforms. So yes, it still works. It's very much alive. But you are going to go through those phases of questioning yourself. Just trust the process, stay disciplined, just do the work that you need to do. That is where winners separate themselves from quitters. Trust the process. Very important. You shouldn't be joining a mentorship if you don't trust the process anyway, because you haven't done your due diligence. You might be the type of person who's like, I'll just give it a go. And then fair enough. But for me, it was very much, I wanted to watch a mentee from start to finish, watch their journey. Can I relate to them? That way I could trust the process. So when I started my journey, it was like, okay, I just got to do the work. Everything else will grow around it. The self-belief, the discipline, the motivation up and downs, the highs and lows, it will all go around it. I've just got to walk the walk and start doing the training. Last but not least, you really need to be sold on your business model. And what I mean by that is know the product you're delivering to the landlords and agents. The whole ins and outs. Like I would deem this one of the most important things of rent to rent. If you're not 100% sold on your business model, then you don't talk to landlords and agents with confidence and conviction. If they throw a question your way, if you're sold on your business model, you'll be like, yeah, this is, this, okay, yeah, XYZ, we do this because of XYZ. It's like, really, even if you don't have any deals, just spend evenings after evenings being sold on that business model, the services you provide, so you can talk to landlords with confidence. They'll hear it in your voice and the conviction and everything around it. You really need to know what you're talking about. So when they question something, you're not going to go away and be like, I need to think about that question. I'm not quite sure. You need to answer it with confidence, and your tone of voice needs to express you really know what you're talking about. So 100%, that is one of the most important things. If you're not 100% sold on your business model, when you're in front of landlords who have heard of this business model kind of vaguely or never, they're going to have questions, objections, and if you're not 100% sold on your business model, you're not going to look like the most confident business person, which is going to bring down that trust. So it's not overly complicated, it's just really important. Be sold on your business model. So that is 5 things that I deem are very important on the journey of rent to rent. So if you found this video useful, please leave me a like, hit the subscribe, do what you need to do, leave me a comment, leave me any suggestions on, any gaps in your knowledge that you'd like me to cover as a topic. I'm going to be pumping out a lot more YouTube videos in the future, so I will see you guys on the next one.